How about another round for Brewsday Tuesday? Here is Huck and Big Nate.
Damn straight. Damn Skippy. We are
Oh, that
back.
was a good one.
Another election day round of Brewsday Tuesday. And I am rocking the Arrogant Bastard Ale.
Named that one after me.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they
Did they
did.
really?
Well, no, they named it after, the boss.
Did you know this beer is vegan?
I did
I
not.
just learned. I mean, I feel like there are a lot of beers that are
I'm
vegan, but
surprised
they've actually got the vegan stamp on there, and they want you to drink fresh, numbskull.
I'm surprised they didn't tell us.
That's the rule of being a vegan. 7.2% ABV.
This one is, I don't even know. This is a West Coast IPA. A lot of mosaic. It's rodent culture. So these beers I picked.
That's not rodent culture. That says resident. Did you bring your readers?
Damn it. Are you sure? Well, it should be rodent culture because it's election day. And that's what the culture of, here, I'm going to get a job where 50% of the people hate me. Well, that's a good idea. Which is what I want to talk about this segment is breweries and politics. And this applies to every business. Okay, now I get that you feel strongly about things, a lot of things. People feel strongly about a lot of things. But people don't agree about a lot of things. And I
Truly.
think we can say it that it's definitely a reasonable assumption that half of the people disagree with the other half of the people on a big majority or big list of items. I wouldn't say majority, a big list of items. So if you're selling something and you want to sell that to as many people as possible, why on earth would you do something that would alienate half of your potential customers? Why would you do that?
There's more money coming in that your customers can bring.
Well, I guess there is the old. I can't, words don't come to me as easily as did when I was a young man, but, I'm taking the high road. So I'm going to preach the gospel of,
The perceived moral high ground,
right. I'm going to be the guy that is, I'll let the money go because it's more important that I nag my neighbor about whatever it is I like that they don't like.
which is a big middle finger to the face of capitalism.
Right. And then secondary, it's you're not changing the mind. I mean, you don't just if you don't believe me, go on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. Well, Instagram's not so bad, but any of those places where you can comment and just read the comments. They say something you disagree with, and read the comments. And people and you're like, oh, well, I'm glad you put that up after I said I only like my rats to be white, only white rats, no gray rats. And then, oh, you convinced me. Now gray rats are good. No, you didn't convince anybody. You just stirred the pot.
It's an echo chamber.
Right.
100%. But I love, I mean, that's one of my favorite pastimes is sitting there and reading the comments, particularly things where like I know,
Right.
like you see the headline and you know, all right, I know exactly where this is going. I know what this fight's going to be. Then you open and then you, of course, as a more educated, articulate individual,
You know
you
what?
just sit there and you've got this confirmation bias of like, yeah,
Yeah.
both sides are full of dumbasses,
Right.
and it's so much fun to sit there and read through the thread and like
But
I've wasted hours.
well, it's true. It's
I've gained nothing from it other than an understanding that like I'm pretty sure I could confidently lead all of these dumbasses like right off a cliff
right.
like a dodo bird
Well, the thing about
or
it
a
is,
lemming.
the thing about it is it's true about a whole lot of things because, like, and there's levels of stupidity. Is the first thing is the knee jerk reaction to something that somebody posts is obviously not true or obviously is true, and everyone wants to argue about it. Well, then like I'm on these groups like Jeep TJs. So the TJ is like the first thing everybody gets a TJ and they go, "There's water leaking on me. What should I do?" So the first 20 comments are sell your TJ, buy something that's not a TJ.
Wear a poncho
Right. Well, then we get
would
to
be
the
my
advice.
reply.
I wear those hip boots to keep the water off my
Put your
legs.
waders on,
Yeah,
dumbass.
because I mean, this is a Jeep. And then you got the whole set of people. Well, I've never put a top on it ever. Sometimes I take the bottom off. I just ride on the wheels, and it's fair enough. It's a whole thing. And it's true also if you look at the golf list, oh, I'm hitting the ball to the left. And then everybody's like, well, the problem is you're staying too close to the ball after you hit it. So, and people are like, that's not really good advice. But it's true. Is it good advice? No. Is it true? Yes. So same thing with politics, oh, this is that and this and that. Okay, yeah. And then they, everything, both sides. It's like they only put half the words that somebody says. I had a friend who was a state senator. He's actually very good at it. And one day I had the opportunity to be in the newspaper and on TV for some things. And
Local man
and
rescues alligator.
kind of thing, Florida, Virginia man, he couldn't get to Florida. And they said, I said, how do you do that? I watch you. He goes, well, I learned that they're going to only play 20, 30 seconds. That's all they're going to play. So if they ask me a question I find difficult, I just stand there and I don't say anything. I smile, look at the camera until I figure out what I can say that gets me out of this situation where they ask me the question I don't want to answer. And then I give an answer. He says, because they're not going to show you stand there looking like an idiot for 30 seconds. They will never do that because that takes up time. Yeah. They want sound bites. And so I've learned that. I mean, not in this show apparently, but other than that, I mean, I think we talked about the time I went across country. It's on TV 4 times.
Well, TV and newspaper are two very different animals
than
radio because we live is organic and we wouldn't have you in here live if we didn't think you could speak
correct
in an articulate fashion.
Right.
I mean, there have been times where I thought you were going to fall on the floor, but
yeah. Well, that's when we do 3 shows in a row.
That's a different matter.
Huck's going out of town.
But yeah,
ready.
I have noticed, and it's always funny the clips they choose. I mean, there are clips circulating on the internet that have gone viral strictly because the person was just so absolutely unhinged.
Right.
And those are the ones that last forever. You have someone who spoke and like didn't think about what they were saying, but kind of just gave a so-so press conference. Nobody gives a damn.
Right, yeah, but anyway, back to the subject at hand. And so, breweries, in fact, during COVID, there was a lot of issues, because people had different opinions about things, and we've discussed it some. But the thing is, just do what the law requires. You don't really need to preach to people. You don't really need to, and if you, the bottom line on business is, if you disagree with what a business is doing, don't go there, and people do that. So business needs to understand when they make a decision, a political decision, who am I alienating? I mean, which of my customers has the most money? Who are the most regular? Those are the people you really ought to focus on. I was in business for years, and I realized about halfway through, I've read some books and went to some seminars, and 80% of your customers give you 20% of your money. And the opposite is true. 20% of your customers give you 80% of your money. And 80% of your customers give you 20% of your problems. The other 20% gives you 80% of your problems. So I would focus on the customers who gave me 80% of my money, and I would get rid of the 20% that gave me 80% of my problems. I would send a customer to a competitor, and I'd run into their people out on the, because when you're in business, you run into other people, and they go, we got your customer. I'm like, how do you like her? Oh, yeah. Bit of a problem.
And think about the second question you were going to ask me. Did you?
Yeah. Well, we call them the PETA factor, pain in the ass. So if you got a high PETA factor, you're not my customer. That's a good thing about working for yourself, is you can do that. And again, if that's what a brewery wants to do, go ahead. If you think that you're right to the point that you don't care if it costs you money, go ahead. Do whatever. Put a sign up.
But you also could run into like that Icarus situation where you fly too close to the sun.
You gotta watch.
You didn't listen.
Yeah, but
you gotta keep an eye on the sun.
As there's a lot of brewers out there who got caught up in the whole cancel culture thing, and I will say that a lot of those brewers were bad men. And I don't think I know of any women that got caught up in that, but
no,
a lot of brewers were being bad boys. And you know what? Hey, that's what happens. And I don't think that more things are being bad or more people are being bad. I think that we just have a much better system of identifying that and spreading the word to our friends and family. That's what we call freedom of speech. And if if somebody says something that's not true, dispute it. That's not good. But if somebody says something that's true, don't take it away just because you don't like it. If it's true, it's true.
I found the best policy is to treat every situation like if your grandmother was hearing what you were saying or seeing what you were doing, would she be proud of you, ashamed of you? How would she react? I'm lucky enough that my grandmother's catchphrase is son of a bitch.
Well,
So
my
I'm doing okay.
my grandmother had me smuggling scotch to her when I was 16
Yeah.
years old in
See,
the hospital. So
so
yeah,
yeah,
my grandma would be cool with most anything I do.
there you go. Exactly. And if you can live with yourself at the end of the day and you feel you've made the right decision, good for you. But sometimes that's not going to work out in your
But
favor.
yeah, and that's why I'm just, in the political season, let's all sit back and, maybe we got 4 more years. We don't have to listen to any of this bullshit. So
No, well,
see what happens.
we'll always have to listen. But
No, we don't. That's
oh,
why I bought headphones. Actually, here's
why didn't you bring your headphones, Huck?
I have the new iPod. Here's an ad, free ad for Apple. The iPod ear, the Pro 2s
Oh yeah,
are
the
hearing
yeah.
aids. What? They're hearing aids. So yeah, they work pretty good too. The problem is, you can only wear an earbud for so long. Then it starts growing into your head. And I already had enough things growing to my head.
That's true. Apparently smartphones have affected people's thumbs too. I haven't noticed it on mine. What about you?
My thumbs are fine. It's my middle fingers that are
Well, you took some time
tired.
off from the phone.
Yeah,
You
that's
had
true.
that COVID reset.
I did have a long reset. I know when I came out of uh being sedated, they gave me what did they give me? Yeah, they brought my laptop in. I ordered a new iPad, a new phone because I was all high on
Yeah.
fentanyl. I didn't know, and I didn't know that they had my stuff. And my daughter comes in and goes like, "Why did you do that?" I'm like, "Well, they
I
couldn't find
wanted it.
them." And she goes, "Well, I have all your stuff." I said, "You got my $600?" She goes, "Well, I have 400 of it." I was like, "Fair enough."
All right. Well, I think for our first Brewsday Tuesday as Huck and Big Nate
So let's see if we're all still here
round
tomorrow,
two.
Wednesday
I
morning.
can guarantee you,
Yeah.
you and I are going to wake up the same people we went to bed as tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right.
So nothing's going to change and life will go on. It's not the end of the world if your candidate doesn't win. Know that. Don't sit there and pull that belly aching. Oh, I'm leaving the country.
Or go if you're going to leave.
I mean,
Stay if you're going to stay.
yeah,
It's all up to you. You get to decide how you feel every day. You get up in the morning, you get to decide.
it is a choice.
Don't
you
let
make.
somebody else
100%.
make that decision for you.
But we should rate these beers.
I think we should.
You go first with your resident culture.
It's rodent culture now.
Rodent culture. I'll send a memo.
I'm telling you, I'm a little burned out on hazy West Coast IPAs, but damn if this ain't a good one. I'm gonna give it 4.5. This is a decent beer. I've never even heard of these people. I just got it because I misread the can. So let's 4.5. They got some down your local beer store. Go get you some.
Arrogant Bastard Ale is always a solid and perfect choice for election day. It's very hop forward.
That was his
Has a
first beer, I think.
Beautiful color. And he's such an arrogant bastard. He's going to stick to it. So this is one of the few beers for me that every time I have it, depending on the circumstances, the rating may change.
Huh.
However, today,
This
is a 5.
You're feeling a 5.
This is a 5.
Well,
so drink fresh.
The election is a 5 for everybody.
That's the best case scenario. Huck, it is your turn. Of course, you've been listening to Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store. What do you want to hear, my friend?
Can you play the one I mentioned earlier? Little Feat, Apolitical Blues.
I can throw that in there.
There you go. Well, Apolitical Blues for everyone who doesn't really want to pick a side.
And that's going to do it for me. JT up next on 105.3 The Bear.
The Bear.